Hi, and thanks so much for joining me for today's Buy This, Not That. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. If you are new here, I focus on luxury beauty and I try these products over and over again. I compare them within brands as well as across brands. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to focus on products that are similar, but what makes them different and what do I prefer after my experience with them. So I have built this based on your requests. For the most part today, we have a lot of viewer requests. We've got the Charlotte Tilbury powder versus the Lotus Glow powder. We also have the Sizzly blur powder versus the Chantecaille blur powder. I've done an extended video on that, but I thought we'd revisit. I also have one of my holy grail items here, actually a couple of holy grail items. We've got the Sizzly under eye concealer versus the new Chanel eye concealer. Comparing another holy grail item of mine, the Chantecaille Faux Longest Lash Mascara. I've loved that one for years. They also have a Faux Seal mascara as well as Tower 28 mascara, which I've also really loved. So I'll be showing you those side by side, comparing them. Also, we're talking about the Rouge Allure Velvet versus the Rouge Allure, which I have on right now. I have two different lipsticks on. I've got two different blushes on, both by Clé de Peau, and this has been a question, which ones do I like the most? So I have a couple here for you. They look similar, but they are different. So I wanna make sure that I can show you the difference between that. Also using the Vega palette that I picked up from Lisa Eldridge. I haven't tried that one yet. And so I tried that on today. And we're also going to do something a little bit different. I wanted to show you over an extended amount of time what these concealers look like, as well as the powders, how they perform over time. So probably go for about 6 hours today, and I'll show you application, give you my thoughts, tell you what the claims are that are on the sites versus my experience, how I would use them, what I would recommend, which one would I choose, because this is all about buy better, helping you invest in products that will work for you based on whatever your needs are. So disclaimer, these are all really beautiful products and there are different purposes for them. So a lot of my interpretation will be based on my needs, but hopefully I can give you information if you have a different need on how these can work for you, because since they are luxury beauty, typically they are very good products. So I don't have products here that I don't love. Let me look here. Mostly I love them. So hopefully this will be helpful for you in case you're considering any of these. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Here's a little more full, I think because I pin curled my curls after I used the Dyson while they kind of set a little bit, so that's probably why it's a little poofy on the top there. But we're gonna start off with one of your requests, and I've done a video pretty in-depth on this before, but I know that was a while ago and there are still questions about this. So we've got the Sizzly powder here, and we have the Chantecaille Perfect Blur powder in light medium here. So I'm gonna use this one as a primer because this one works really, really well as a primer. This is a Sizzly. The Chantecaille does not work well as a primer, but I can show you what they look like together just so you can see. And actually I completely forgot about this one until someone asked, and I thought, oh yeah, it made such a really wonderful primer. So I have no other product on my face except for skincare. So just going in with the Blur powder by Sizzly. And of course I have spreadsheets here. So I'm going to tell you about their claims and what my experience is with them. So this is a Sizzly Blur Expert. It only comes in one shade. So the Chantecaille comes in 2 shades. It says it's universal and complements all skin tones, but I have to say it adds a little bit of color. So if you're any lighter than me, this is probably going to add some color. So you can see this is my bare skin. Here's the Sizzly. So you can see it's a pretty good actually shade match for me. Goes a little bit olive though, I have to say, even though it looks peachy in here. Tends to give a little bit more of an olive tone than over here. You can see it's more pink. It says it's the Insta Sizzly filter, and it creates ultra luminous perfect skin in a single stroke that lasts all day. So I could actually use this probably as a foundation. Do you see how nicely it blurred that dark discoloration? Actually, that's really good. I haven't done this in a while since my dark spots have faded so well. So actually, I wonder if I'm gonna need foundation. That is so interesting. And then I think I slept, if there you see this weird line, it's not like I have injections or anything. I don't have anything like that. I think I slept funny on the pillowcase. We just noticed that today. It's very strange. So just thinking that's like a pillowcase marking, I hope. So yeah, I don't do anything like Botox or fillers or anything. So I don't know what that is. Okay, so that is just the blur powder. And then I'm just reading off their website here. Beautified skin for a flawless finish, a perfect skin effect, fresh and even complexion. I think that's pretty apparent there. Let's go on the forehead a little bit more. And it says it illuminates the complexion naturally while remaining invisible. Acts instantly like an Instagram filter. So I think that's pretty accurate with no makeup on. Again, though it says it's transparent, I don't think it is. I think it adds color. I have my other Buff and Blur, the smaller one here. I'll do that with the Chantecaille powder. Now this one comes in 2 shades. So Sizzly comes in 1, Chantecaille comes in 2. This is our best-selling ultra-fine instant blur powder. It smooths and perfects the complexion and is back and now available in their full range. So it used to be just a limited edition item, but it's a permanent item because everyone loved it so much. Weightless finish helps skin appear softly filtered and flawless. So it has the same filtering claim as if there's a filter on your face. So you can see here too, just on bare skin, I think it's a really good illustration of both the tones of these as well as the level of perfecting. Chantecaille though is vegan friendly. It's a no animal testing product, fragrance-free, vegan, and gluten-free. So that might be a deciding factor for you as well. Here they both are on bare skin. You can see here there's more of a glow with the Sizzly, and versus the Chantecaille there isn't as much of a glow here. It's more matte. There's a peachier tone to the Chantecaille versus this, which has a little bit of olive tone in it, on my skin tone at least. But you can see there is definitely more of a blurring effect, I'm gonna say, with the Sizzly versus the Chantecaille on bare skin. So we're gonna go in with foundation now, and we'll see if we need as much concealer now that I have these on. So I would choose the Sizzly over the Chantecaille for a primer, or if you wanted to go in with the Sizzly as a foundation itself, which at this point I would do, so I think it looks really pretty. I'm glad that I tried this again because I would definitely use it as a foundation of sorts. So we're gonna go in with the Chanel SUBLIMAGE, the one in the jar, the SUBLIMAGE Le Temps, and this one's in 41. And I've been testing this out. I'm gonna go right over the Sizzly. And then we're gonna see if we can skip concealer. I'm stippling a little here just to not move that around too much. Okay, so again, I don't have any concealer on. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of the foundation to this side. Now this Chantecaille would not use as a primer. I just wanted to show you for comparison purposes because people have asked that question, is it good for a primer? And I would say no. I love it more as a powder on top of makeup. So let's go in with the foundation here. Putting that powder down as a primer didn't do any favors to the foundation. It moves around a bit, the Perfect Blur powder, if you try to use it as a primer, which is why I don't do that. I'm gonna need to conceal a little bit more here. So let's move on to concealers. We've got the Sizzly versus the new Chanel, and I've been trying this out for a few days. I thought we could try a little bit of a wear test here so we can see over time. So just not looking at how it looks on initial application, but after a few hours. We'll see how long I can keep this on. So we're gonna add the Chanel. This is a number 40. I'm going to concentrate it more towards this part of the eye because over here I'm going to use the Clé de Peau, which I normally do. This claims to immediately illuminate the eye area, and I'm going to already say yes to that because there are particles in here. It's got light reflecting particles, which I can see. It's visible to the eye, not individual particles, but you can see the effect. And that's a big difference between this and the Sizzly, is that it has those light reflecting particles in there. This one also has cedar extract, which helps reduce the appearance of dark circles. And it does come with a brush, and so does the Sizzly one, but I don't use the Sizzly brush, but it comes in this jar, and there are 10 shades of this. So it's a bit messy. So many of you have decanted it. Some of you have taken off this inner lid to make it less messy. So there are lots of solutions out there, very creative ones, about how to best use this container. It says over time, the skin feels more comfortable as well as more moisturized with a plump, well-rested appearance. So I haven't used it over time that long to see that difference, but the Sizzly, and I have this in number 4, and this one again is in 40. So the Sizzly, on the other hand, comes in this tube with this metal applicator, which I really like because it's not as messy. So I'm gonna add a little here. One thing I noticed immediately between these two is that the Sizzly does not have the same light reflecting particles in it. There's a different tone here in number 4. It's a little bit more warm, and 40 is a little bit more pink. So you've got that difference in terms of just the superficial appearance. I don't set either one of these, so I'm just gonna leave them just like that. And this will be really interesting to see over time. I'm just gonna pat this. And the Chanel does say to pat. I'm gonna do the same thing over here with the Sizzly just to make sure we're all patted in nicely. Then I'm going to go in with my Clé de Peau on the exterior like normal. So this Clé de Peau works really nice on the exterior because I have a lot of potential to gather in this area because there's a lot of movement. So Clé de Peau stays in place. But I don't like Clé de Peau here because it's a little bit more heavy duty. So Sizzly says it masks dark circles and signs of fatigue. I think that's true of both of them. They both mask fatigue. This one says Sizzly visibly smooths fine lines, and the Chanel also claims that it smooths the appearance of fine lines without creasing. And we're gonna be watching for that creasing today. There are 9 shades in this one over here by tone. So they say 2 fair, 3 light, 2 medium, and 2 deep. While over here you have 10 shades. They don't talk about the tone. Ultra pure pigments instantly mask dark circles and darkened areas. Over here, cedar extract helps to reduce the appearance of dark circles. So they talk more about ingredients over here to address dark circles. Red vine arnica and ginkgo biloba, which targets puffiness and signs of fatigue. Over here, you have light reflecting particles that enhance radiance and create an even makeup result. They don't talk about puffiness over here with the Chanel versus Sizzly, but I haven't worn them side by side long enough to tell you if there's a puffiness effect or not. Let me know if you use either of these products in the comment section below. It'll help everybody out if you notice these differences. There's caffeine soy peptide extract, horsetail extract. Day after day, it says that this concealer helps significantly reduce the appearance of under eye bags. There is no long-term really over here, except that it says it feels more comfortable, more moisturized, plump with more rested appearance over time. But over here again, you have that metallic applicator, which is soothing on the skin. It feels really nice. Also a bit less messy than the Chanel. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows and prime, and then add a little bit of concealer here. I'm gonna show you the eyes really quick because it's a new palette. So let me take care of those first. Okay, just went in with my Chanel brow, my brow duo. This one right here, DIOR Onset Brow in 032. And then we're gonna go in again with these powders, just so you can see how they look on top of makeup. So again, we have the Sizzly over here. It's the Blur Expert powder. I've got the same brush I used earlier. I did conceal with Clé de Peau as well. Didn't really need it, but I just wanted to add that on both sides so you could see what the powder looks like on top of both of these. This is more powder than I normally would add, just so you can see if you use more powder than me. There is the Sizzly on top of makeup. For me, that adds a little too much color. I want more brightening than that. So I'm gonna go in with the Chantecaille over here. Again, this is the Perfect Blur powder in light medium. So it has that brightening tone in there that I like. Now, although this claims to have more of a pore blurring aspect to it, this one actually is more pore blurring to me. When I add this on top of makeup, that's when I start to see the pores more than over here. So here's the Chantecaille side, and here's the Sizzly side. So that's why I don't like this one on top of makeup. I like it under makeup or as my only layer. And you can see there's more of a glow here. And I think that's what's bringing about, even though it says it's pore blurring, this is more pore blurring, texture blurring to me. Let's go in with another powder really quickly. I'm gonna take Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush, this glow powder, their brightening brush, Airbrush brightening powder. And I know they came out with that new highlighter powder hybrid product, but I have seen swatches and it just looks like it's gonna show texture on me. So I feel like this is probably as far as I would go with the glow. Let me know if you want to see it, but I've just, looking at the swatches, I can tell it just doesn't look like it's gonna work for me. But the other glow powder we're gonna go in with is this one by Chantecaille. So this has also been one of your questions. And let's go in with, I'm gonna take this BK Beauty 104 brush with a Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna go right up front here. And I like this for lifting bone structure. Oh, I haven't gone in with a bronzer yet, I forgot. Okay, I'll do that in a moment. So this one is lovely. You can see it brings about the bone structure, which is what that other Charlotte Tilbury product claims to do, that it lifts bone structure. But for me, This is gonna be the best bet. Doesn't have as much of a shimmery aspect to it. And then let's go in with the Chantecaille. This is the Lotus Perfect Blur Glow, but I do have a backup of this, so I love it so much. Back to the spreadsheet. So this one has very little information, but it says 1 shade. It smooths and perfects the complexion with a soft focus blur powder that delivers a hint of radiance. And this delivers a hint of radiance as well. You can see it's just a hint. No animal testing, gluten-free and vegan. So that's Chantecaille. Then you have Charlotte Tilbury over here. You can see there's a difference in the appearance too. It's a lot brighter here. It's a bit more obvious than this one. This one's more subtle to me. There are 2 shades here. You've got fair medium and tan deep. I have the fair medium. It brightens, blurs, and lifts the look of eyes and face, and I just use it right here. But it's got a brightening complex. It softens the look of the skin, more radiant, even looking complexion. It's got a light bouncing technology. It says it's got a golden vitamin C, which brightens the look of skin over time. So this one has an ingredient in there that over time would help brighten wherever you apply it. It's got vegan collagen for skin that looks plumper, smoother, and more youthful, hyaluronic acid. It says it deeply hydrates the skin and locks in moisture. It's got a micro sphere technology, which creates a micro powder texture and glides on emollient esters for a softer than silk touch. So that's the difference between those two. Now, if I wanted something more obvious, I would go with a Charlotte Tilbury, but I just love this over here. I know it's more subtle, but I think it just looks pretty on my skin. So it's not as obvious, but it does the same job. Yeah, so that's why I prefer this. And I do think that this has a little bit more smoothing. Now it's not fair because I already applied it on top of something that has a little bit more texture because of that Sizzly, but I can see why some people might prefer this one. But for me, I prefer this one. Yeah, it's just more subtle, a little bit more blurring. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with eyes now. We're gonna use this palette by Lisa Eldridge. I picked it up a long time ago. It's Vega. It looks so beautiful. I haven't even tried it yet. I'm gonna go in with this shade all over the lid, this lightest shade. Just gonna do a light layer with this number 16 brush. Just kind of wanna get it all over the lid. Oh, I went in with the Eye Base by Chantecaille in medium. Gonna go in with this next shade right here. Same brush, just to get that in the crease. Okay, that's pretty. Let's go ahead in with, the smaller brush. This is a Bristles Beauty E03DM. I'm gonna go in with this shade here. Go in the corner, outer corner. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this color right here. This one, go in between. 2 shades. Just gonna go in the middle of the eye with this shade. If you have smaller eyes like me, this is the best, tiniest brush. It's by BK Beauty, it's 208. I'm gonna use that to pick up this deepest shade here and create an eyeliner with it. Okay, it just tight lined with Victoria Beckham's Ash, and then I added a little bit more of the crease color, but that's it. We're gonna talk about 3 mascaras now because there are 2 by Chantecaille that I love, but they're a little bit different, and then another one that's very comparable. So you know I love the Faux Longest Lash Mascara, and Chantecaille also has the Faux mascara. So there are these 2 by Chantecaille. They're a little bit different. And then we've got the Tower 28 mascara. So the Faux Longest Lash Mascara, this one has the wavy design on it. And this one costs a little bit more. I'm gonna tell you about why I'll apply it. I'll apply it over here. It's got a lash peptide technology. So that's the main difference between this and the other Chantecaille mascara. It enhances the appearance of lashes in terms of length and thickness and fullness, but does not discolor or irritate the eye. That's what makes this one a little bit different in terms of the ingredients in there compared to the other Chantecaille mascara. Now the way it looks when applied on looks virtually the same. So if you're just looking for this appearance of lashes without the peptides, then you could go with the Faux Seal mascara. This one is my holy grail. I want to do everything I can to get these lashes as full and long and nice looking as possible. It's a non-clumping formula. It's got a double helix brush right here, which combs and feathers the lashes for a defined volume. So I really like how this separates all the lashes. No animal testing here, no parabens, phthalate-free, fragrance-free as well. And then the Faux Seal mascara, I'm just gonna tell you a little about this because I only have the 2 eyes, but it says it has a special combination of natural waxes as well, and that helps to thicken the appearance of the lashes. Again, made in Italy, and it says the lashes instantly appear dramatically thicker, fuller, and longer. Length, the volume, definition, all of those things with both of these. So if I were to apply this one, I get a very similar results with this. The price point on these is higher than average, and I know that not everyone has the budget to get these. So I wanted to find something for you that has a very close performance and appearance to it. And this one, Tower 28, so between these two, since this does not have the peptides, I would put these two up against each other. And this one is a much lower price point. This is the Tower 28, and I love the brush on this one. So their wand, it says, use the inner wave of the dual-sided brush to build up volume and the longer bristles to lengthen and define lashes. I don't do that. I just use this curved side against my lashes. It has a triple wave wand, which has 3 flexible suspended bands. It says they lengthen and define every single lash and build boldness. So I'm gonna just take this. I really like the curvature of this wand. It makes it so easy to grab all of these lashes. So same thing, you can build this up without it flaking or clumping or anything like that. This is also good for sensitive eyes. So those of you with sensitive eyes, this was created with you in mind. Here, I'll take this. I'll take the Faux Seal mascara this time just so you can see it. Very same kind of wand here as the Faux Seal longest lash, and I'll just put another layer with that on top just so you can see. And this is even my bad lash side. My good lashes are on the left side here. Vegan mascara over here, the Tower 28. It's a vegan, clean formula, cruelty-free, safe for sensitive eyes again. Ophthalmologist tested, it says. This one also says it volumizes, lengthens, and defines. Okay, so I put 2 coats on each of the eyes. Tower 28, Chantecaille. So if you are looking for that Chantecaille performance, but at a different lower price point, Tower 28 is beautiful. I just quickly bronzed with the Chanel bronzer here in 392. This one, and I used the number 4 REPHR brush. I'm gonna compare a couple of blushes by the same company, but they are by Clé de Peau. So I thought I'd compare for you the finishes because there are only a couple that I would suggest to purchase. So one of them is 102. It's got a really lovely glow without being sparkly. And then we have 101 here, which is not my favorite because there's a little bit more detectable shimmer. So I wanted to show you 101 versus 102. So you can see there's a difference in tone as well. This one's a lot pinkier. This one's more muted. Okay, we've got a number 5 REPHR brush. I'm going to take this lightest shade here and just apply it. Now I know we don't have totally equal sides here because I've been putting on different products. Yeah, there's just more detectable shimmer in here, just a slight amount, but they are not created equally to me. So it might not be as visible too, but I thought I'd just show you. Yeah, I can see individual particles in there. Let's take 102. This is the pinkier one. Let's take this 37 brush. It's a little denser, but that's okay. And this, even looking at it, doesn't have that detectable shimmer. You can just see it in the product itself. Much more even glow here on this side. Maybe not perceptible from that end. Wow, that's such a weird little line I have there. I don't know. But this one's a much more even kind of glow to the blush. So 101 versus 102. Next, let's go in with lip. Now, I just recently talked about the Rouge Allure Velvets, and I have a Rouge Allure to compare that with. So for those of you who don't like the velvet formula, I thought I'd show you a Rouge Allure. Now, these colors are as close as I could get, but this one, last time I checked, is not available online. I don't know if it's coming back, but I really liked it. It's number 192. So I thought I would show you the Rouge Allure Velvet, and this is one of the new shades, number 54. I think I wore it in my last video. So as you can see, it does have more like a luminous matte kind of finish, but this is Profondeur, and this is 192, and I think it's exclusive to their site. And I think the reason I didn't throw this in with favorites is because I was trying to pick things that weren't unavailable. I wanted to make sure they were available to you. So otherwise this one would have made it in there. Love that shade. So over here we have the Rouge Allure Velvet. It states it's a comfortable lipstick delivering intense color and wears like a second skin. This one says it's instantly comforts lips, leaving them luminous and supple. And then it's got a concentrated ultra thin pigment which delivers full coverage. So a luminous intense lip color. Over here they say it's a luminous matte lip color, highly concentrated, which creates an even long-lasting result. I'm talking about this over here now. Soft focus microspheres that combine with ultra-fine pearly particles for a luminous matte finish. And I think that's why I like this formula in terms of a matte, is because of that soft focus microsphere. I am gonna do a wear test though, so we can watch these under eye concealers, because I think that's gonna be really important, as well as this area right here in the front, in terms of the blurring effect that the Sizzly provided, and see how long that lasts as a primer. So again though, Sizzly versus the under eye concealer by Chanel. Right now, I prefer the Chanel just because it's a little bit more lightweight, has more of that light reflecting technology in it, but this does a really excellent job as well. It depends on what look you're going for. If you want something more matte, I know some people like their foundation more matte. I think the Sizzly's really pretty, but if you want something that has coverage but still looking more natural while still providing nice coverage, Chanel. So for me, I prefer the Chanel, but we'll see how this goes over time, how much more I pull for it. But right now I am preferring the Chanel. Then we've got the blur powders, the Sizzly versus the Chantecaille. So the Sizzly has that really amazing ability to blur, almost like a foundation, like a powder foundation, which is actually how I think I would use it the most. Looks beautiful under foundation as well, but then I would top it off with the Chantecaille powders. So I'd use the Sizzly if I just wanted the one product, or if I wanted to put as a primer underneath, I would use that. Chantecaille though, on top of makeup is far better for me. You could see the blurring, or at least I could see the blurring, and I like that brighter tone. So depends on what your needs are, but I would use Sizzly underneath and then Chantecaille on top. Okay, as for the glow powders, I just like the tone of the Chantecaille glow powder better, and there's a bit more smoothing of the texture with the Chantecaille versus the Charlotte Tilbury. I think if your skin is really beautiful to begin with, I think you can use the Charlotte Tilbury, but if you want more blurring, go with the Chantecaille if you want blurring and a glow. If you want glow with not as much blurring, I would go with the Charlotte Tilbury. So it's brighter here, not as blurring. Over here, more blurring, not as bright, more subtle. So for me, I choose Chantecaille because I like that blurring effect, and I like the tone of the Chantecaille. It's a bit more natural on me than the Charlotte Tilbury. Even though I think it's more apparent, I prefer the more subtle contrast to my skin. Then we got the mascaras, Faux Cils Longest Lash Mascara, Faux Cils Mascara by Chantecaille versus Tower 28. They are very, very comparable in terms of results. So if you're looking for something with a price point that's not as much as the Chantecaille, I would go with Tower 28. It has all of those things in mind for sensitive eyes and delivers this very, very, very similar results, very similar performance. I've been very impressed with Tower 28. However, I will still continue to purchase Faux Cils Longest Lash Mascara by Chantecaille because of the peptides in there. But if I was going to choose between the Faux Cils Mascara, the one without the peptides by Chantecaille, and Tower 28, I would go with Tower 28. That might be a surprise to you, but I would definitely go with Tower 28. I would buy that one again. And then you've got the lip shades, Rouge Allure Velvet versus Rouge Allure. I would choose Rouge Allure because of the comfort and the finish of it. I prefer a satin finish, but I think I would use this on occasion, but on a more regular basis, I would go with the Rouge Allure formula. So we're gonna watch these sides though, and the pores here in front over time. Let's see, 3:30, so we'll see how long we can go, but I'm gonna go in close just so you can take a good look. You've got here Chanel Eye Concealer, Sizzly Eye Concealer. Okay, my lighting is not very happy right now. Then you've got here the Sizzly side versus the Chantecaille side in terms of texture. So we're gonna check in on those in a few hours and see how it goes. So we are here at about 5 hours, and I was just looking at everything, and the wear looks very similar on the Chanel side versus the Sisley, but you can definitely tell that Chanel has a glow to it that the Sisley doesn't have. So I think that's gonna be the biggest difference in case you're interested in either one of these. It is a little bit more lightweight feeling on the Chanel side versus the Sisley. It just seems more dense, the product itself, in terms of its pigmentation, but in terms of performance, they did really well, both of them. The Sisley side, that blur powder underneath and on top of makeup versus this side. Now, I don't know if it was the most fair comparison because I put the Chantecaille under foundation, which I don't normally do. I wouldn't use it for primer, but I wanted to show you the difference. What I found is that it kind of gathered a little bit, so there's a little bit of that to contend with, but I do feel like there's just a heavier makeup look here. In person, it looks like there's more layers of makeup, but I definitely would use it under foundation, but not on top of foundation. So if I was going to use the Sisley, I would use the Sisley powder underneath foundation, and then I would finish off with the Chantecaille. Interesting observation with the lip product. So I've already used a napkin, and this is the Rouge Allure Velvet side, and this is the Rouge Allure side. So this one leaves a bit more color than this one. And of course, I would love to know all of your experience with these products so we can help each other out. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.